Today is my last fight here in UFC.
Welcome back to the channel, fight fans. Today, we'll be delving into the realms of hypothetical scenarios and exploring a captivating question that has often intrigued MMA enthusiasts worldwide. What if the undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov never retired and continued his reign as the lightweight champion? Join me as we embark on an enthralling adventure of speculation, where we'll explore the possibilities and let our imaginations run wild. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this captivating scenario. Continuing from Khabib's dominant win over Justin Gaethje, the next contender in line would have been Michael Chandler, considering his knockout victory over Dan Hooker in January of 2021. If Khabib hadn't retired, it's reasonable to assume that Dana White would have done his best to set up the highly anticipated fight between Khabib and Chandler, given Chandler's impressive debut and the mega push he received.
You got this handed to you. You got Dana White privilege.
However, as fate would have it, we witnessed a different matchup, Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, and were treated to one of the greatest title runs in UFC history. But you guys aren't here for me to tell you what happened in reality. We are here to discuss Khabib's career had he not retired from the sport of MMA. So, continuing from where we left off, let's dive into the hypothetical matchup between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Michael Chandler. While Chandler showcased his power and explosiveness in previous fights, there are valid reasons to believe that Khabib would come out on top in this clash of styles. Despite Chandler's impressive performances, some critics argue that he hasn't consistently demonstrated a high fight IQ throughout his career. Against Khabib, who is known for his unparalleled grappling skills and ability to dictate the pace of the fight, Chandler might find himself in unfamiliar territory. In this hypothetical scenario, it's plausible to envision Chandler landing a big shot or two that catches Khabib's attention. His power is undoubtedly a threat. However, Khabib's granite chin, coupled with his exceptional durability, suggests that he could withstand Chandler's onslaught without succumbing to a knockout. As the fight progresses, Khabib's relentless pressure and superior grappling prowess would likely take their toll on Chandler. We've seen in the past how Khabib's opponents, such as Dustin Poirier, have struggled to maintain their gas tank against his suffocating ground game. Drawing upon his exceptional wrestling and relentless pursuit of takedowns, Khabib would likely find success in bringing the fight to the canvas. Once there, his suffocating top control and submission skills would pose a significant threat to Chandler's chances of victory. In this hypothetical scenario, I predict that Khabib Nurmagomedov would ultimately secure a victory over Michael Chandler via a rear-naked choke. As the fight progresses and Chandler's gas tank begins to empty, Khabib's unyielding pressure and relentless pursuit of the finish would prove too much for the challenger to handle. While Chandler's power and ability to stuff takedowns early on might make it an intriguing battle in the opening rounds, Khabib's unparalleled skills and experience inside the octagon would shine through. I believe Khabib would ultimately submit Chandler in the third round, solidifying his dominance and adding another chapter to his extraordinary legacy. Of course, in the realm of hypothetical scenarios, anything can happen. It's essential to remember that this analysis is purely speculative and subject to debate. Nonetheless, the matchup between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Michael Chandler, had it occurred, would undoubtedly have been a thrilling encounter to witness. After defeating Michael Chandler, Khabib Nurmagomedov's next opponent in this hypothetical scenario would have been none other than Charles Oliveira. In this timeline, Oliveira didn't defeat Chandler for the vacant belt, leading to a clash with Khabib for lightweight supremacy. From my perspective, as a fan of Charles Oliveira, I believe he would have presented a tough challenge for Khabib. The closest we can get to imagining this fight is through Oliveira's title fight against Islam Makhachev, where Islam knocked down Charles and submitted him with an arm triangle. Based on that fight, I'm not suggesting Oliveira would quit, but I believe Khabib would have had the opportunity to finish him. Comparing their fights, it's clear that Islam has the more technical striking, while Khabib is relentless with his takedowns and pressure. However, I believe Khabib would show no respect for Oliveira and take him down. Perhaps he could get caught in a guillotine, as he did against Dustin Poirier, but in my opinion, Khabib was on another level and would find a way to escape. It's essential to acknowledge Khabib's greatness. He never bled in his 29 fights and was widely regarded as one of the best to ever compete in the sport. Even Javier Mendez, Khabib's coach, acknowledged that the only person to win rounds against Khabib was Islam. However, it wasn't the majority of the rounds. Considering a fight between Charles Oliveira and Khabib Nurmagomedov, I still have to favor Khabib despite Oliveira's striking advantage. Khabib showed improved striking skills in his last few fights, and we must consider that he would have continued to progress in his prime. It's possible he would have been able to land on Oliveira and submit him, similar to what Islam did. Ultimately, it's challenging to see anyone finishing Khabib because it never happened during his career. In my opinion, Khabib would secure a submission victory over Oliveira, as Oliveira tapped to elbows from Paul Felder in the past. The punishment from Khabib would likely be much worse, and while I'm not suggesting Oliveira would quit, I believe he would ultimately be finished. It's important to note that this analysis is purely speculative, as these matchups never took place. However, based on my assessment of both fighters' skills and Khabib's unparalleled dominance, I firmly believe Khabib Nurmagomedov would have emerged victorious against Charles Oliveira in a hypothetical clash. As we ponder Khabib Nurmagomedov's potential sixth title defense, we enter a realm of uncertainty and speculation. In this hypothetical scenario, let's imagine that instead of Islam Makhachev facing Alexander Volkanovski, Khabib would have fought Volkanovski as the champion. This matchup between Khabib and Volkanovski is incredibly challenging to predict. In reality, when Islam fought Volkanovski, he won 3 rounds to 2, with Volkanovski finishing the fight on top as the bell rang to end the 5th round. Some speculated that if the fight had gone another round, Volkanovski would have finished Islam.
I just believe that Alexander Volkanovski won that fight. The real great performance of this fight was Alexander Volkanovski.
However, it's important to consider that the strikes that Volkanovski landed on Islam, which hurt him, may not have fazed Khabib to the same extent. Khabib has proven to have a superior chin compared to Islam, as demonstrated by Islam being dropped by Volkanovski and knocked out in his early career. At 34 years old, Khabib would have been in his prime facing Volkanovski, who was also at the peak of his abilities. This matchup presents a difficult decision when it comes to predicting the winner. Ultimately, I would lean towards Volkanovski. While Khabib's striking might not have posed as much of a threat to Volkanovski as Islam's did, Volkanovski has shown the ability to adapt to any opponent, as demonstrated in his battle against Islam. I believe Volkanovski would adapt to Khabib's style and ultimately emerge victorious, potentially winning by decision. I don't envision Volkanovski finishing Khabib, as both fighters have shown remarkable resilience and defensive skills. Khabib has proven to be incredibly difficult to submit, as demonstrated by his escape from Dustin Poirier's guillotine attempt. Similarly, Volkanovski showcased his ability to withstand submission attempts, escaping from Brian Ortega's guillotine and triangle in their fight. In a matchup between Khabib and Volkanovski, I believe it would be a case of Khabib underestimating Volkanovski's grappling skills. While Khabib possesses more power than Ortega, it's plausible that Volkanovski's defensive grappling abilities would result in most of Khabib's takedown attempts being stuffed. Furthermore, Volkanovski's utilization of calf kicks could pose a significant challenge for Khabib throughout the duration of the fight. It's crucial to note that this analysis is purely speculative, and the outcome of such a matchup would depend on numerous factors and variables. Each fighter brings their own unique strengths and strategies to the table, making it an intriguing and unpredictable contest. So ultimately, if Khabib had decided not to retire, I believe he would have successfully defended the belt at least 2 more times before facing a decision loss to Volkanovski. Assuming that would be his final fight, we have brought our hypothetical scenario up to date with today in 2023. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and like for more captivating what-if scenarios.